This is Sparky, and I'm Aislin, Terry Mosher, the cartoonist for the Gazette, and we're going to show you some of the more interesting cartoons that I've drawn this year, 2015. Many of you out there, a certain age, my age, will remember Bob Dylan's wonderful video promoting the film Don't Look Back, where he held up a bunch of shirt boards with different messages on them. I thought that might be an effective way to present some of my more interesting cartoons of 2015. 2015 began out in a very harsh way, you will remember, with the attacks on the Charlie Hebdo offices in Paris, the humor magazine. 11 people killed, most of them cartoonists. So I drew a number of graphics on the subject, but I think this is particularly strong. The world's best-known comedian of all time, Charlie Chaplin, showing supposedly his support for the magazine Charlie Hebdo. It sort of began with Paris this year and ended in Paris, again with the attacks on the part of ISIS, killing well over 100 people in the streets of Paris. I didn't know how to handle it, but finally I came up with this of one of the famous gargoyles on the top of Notre Dame, guarding over the city of love, if you will, in military garb. Quite startling, actually. And often I like to do this, no words, just present a sort of a graphic that says as much as you possibly can. An interesting aspect, Anonymous, if you remember, the hacking group, decided to take on ISIS as opposed to big governments, and they went after them electronically. I thought this was very clever, and you know, I wish them well. Here I have an anonymous figure beheading symbolically ISIS, but not with a knife, but with a computer mouse. The Americans confuse us. We love them. We love the Americans. We love all their stuff and so on. But this thing about guns, so this was a cartoon I drew, saying, God bless America, but if you notice, the lettering is all composed of assault rifles and handguns and all sorts of things. Another confusing aspect to us, I think, is American politics. Donald Trump came out of nowhere, and no matter how outrageous the statement, he opens his mouth, and there you go. Something comes out of it, and he continues to gain in the polls. Really, really interesting what's going on, and I'm quite sure it's going to lead to a lot of interesting cartoons in 2016. Bit of good news out of the United States. President Obama finally recognized Cuba after all these years, and an ambassador will be traveling to Cuba. I'm a little worried, though, about who that ambassador just might be and what cultural effect that the American culture will have on the Cuban culture. A bit of good news, too. Angela Merkel was named Person of the Year by Time magazine. Not only the Person of the Year, but probably the most powerful woman in the world. More power to Germany for opening the floodgates before anyone else for the Syrian refugees. In Canada, it's a little more fun in Canada, I guess, because we don't have these dramatic situations. We opened the year with celebrating John A. Macdonald, our first Prime Minister's 200th birthday. So here I have John A. Macdonald singing happy birthday to himself with the Fathers of Confederation in the background. The story of the year in Canada had to be the calling of the Canadian election, but Stephen Harper, I think it backfired on him. Stephen Harper called the election in July for October. Here we go. We didn't like that very much, you know, interrupting our summer activities. But nevertheless, he was confident. He probably thought he could do it, but I don't think he understood that certain things were going to happen. The first debate of many debates was called for August 6th. I don't know about you, but I didn't watch it either. But the debates continued, and I think interest grew with it. And this was a cartoon on the debates with an orange Tom Mulcair, a blue Stephen Harper, a red Justin Trudeau in the foreground, and in the background a green Elizabeth May and a Quebec blue Gilles Duceppe, announcing Jeudi soir les Muppets on TVI, I believe it was. The surprise of the election was at the beginning. I think Tom Mulcair and the NDP were neck and neck with the Tories, and perhaps even occasional polls showed them a little bit above. So Tom Mulcair, but in a nutshell, this is exactly what happened to Tom Mulcair. Boom, like that, and the NDP, and they ended up coming in third in the election. We woke up on the morning of October 21st, and Stephen Harper was toast. A lot of Canadians wanted change. It was the question of what direction they were going to turn in. Would they turn towards the NDP? It ended up they turned towards Justin Trudeau and the Liberals wanting legitimate change. And let's hope that comes true. An interesting side note of this was throughout Stephen Harper's regime, the CBC, our national network, has been cut and slashed and right down to the bare bone in some cases. And so a favorite cartoon of this year was the CBC trying to adjust to all of this. Therefore, it's kind of understandable, I think, that the CBC really gushed over Pierre Trudeau and his wife moving into Rideau, the Rideau cottage and so on. In fact, here I have Rosemary Barton of the CBC and a film crew about to film in the washroom of the Trudeau residence. So Justin Trudeau photobombed his way to a majority government and also to international fame. It's not as if Stephen Harper is going anywhere soon. I think he probably would like to, but with the resumption of the Mike Duffy trials and Duffy sort of pointing out Stephen Harper as the ultimate devil, if you will, I think he's going to be in the news for quite a while. The post office began imposing these community mailboxes on us. None of us were too happy about it. And here, I guess it was good for us walking the dogs in any case. Our super mayor, Denis Coderre, always sort of attacking a situation in a particular style. He actually took a jackhammer to one of these mailboxes, if I remember. The problem for Coderre, I think, is that he's stuck with so much mundane stuff. He'd like to be the big guy who does the big projects and that sort of thing. But unfortunately, he's stuck with the reality of having to deal with potholes as they emerge in March and that sort of thing. The business of construction is really a problem for Montrealers. We did manage to receive a wonderful new gift, a sort of a temple to health on the top of a hill, the new very colorful super hospital. There it is. The problem initially was, how do you get to it? What with construction and so on. I think lastly for Montrealers, the one thing that unites us all, hockey. We certainly hope that Carey Price comes back really soon, because we'd certainly like to see another Stanley Cup, not only in Montreal, but in Canada. It's been a long time. So we wish them well. And at the same time, despite this very caustic Christmas card of mine with a drone over Bethlehem, we wish you all season's greetings and a happier new year. Bye-bye now.